Now we're gonna do a little rose propagation here as well. This little orange deal you see here is a rose hip. That's where the seeds for these roses come from. Inside each one of these balls, it could be one, could be a dozen, could be 18 rose seeds. Yeah, nobody knows that you can grow roses from seeds, but this is where you get them from. These are called rose hips. And you'll notice the orange color in them. That means they're ready to be picked. Now, some of the green ones that you'll see, the seeds are just not quite as mature as the orange ones. They'll be an orange color or a reddish orange color. This little dude right here. And as you can see, he's already started his drying process. Once they dry up, they'll start to look like this. That one's a little more dry, and later on we'll show you some that are dry to the point of being like really crunchy. You'll have to actually work to get inside.
Where do I cut it? Where it's dead at?
Yeah, right there. You'll have to actually work to get inside to get at those seeds. Here's one right here. And see how it's dead all the way down to there? That's exactly where you want to cut these off at, between the living and the dead tissue. Into the dead tissue is even better. That way you might get actual leaf growing here or another bud, because I know you can't see it here, but there are nodes right there that can produce a branch or a leaf or another bud. So we'll take this off right at the dead part, right there. Excellent work. And we have a few more on here that we could take. Here's a green one right here that's actually broken off. You'll notice these will swell up at the bottom, and then you'll drop them. These will swell up at the bottom when they contain seeds. And we'll show you some later on that are not fertile and don't have seeds. And we'll show you the difference between those.
What about the ones that have already fell on the ground?
Those are perfect as well. We'll show you some more here that country has picked up that are in further stage of drying out. These could very well, these probably do have seeds in them as well. And we'll open some up here in a little while and let you see the seeds, and we'll talk more about planting them and propagating them after a while. What I'm showing you here are the ones that have been, maybe 3-4 weeks. And this one is maybe a week or two. It's lost all its petals, and this is the underneath side of the petal. Let's show you some here that are not fertile and do not have seeds. Okay, we've gone around to the other side of the rose now. And if you look underneath here, see there's no roundness to that at all. It's just flat. In other words, what that's telling me is this particular flower has not been fertilized and it does not have seeds. You can see it's pretty young, so it hasn't gone to seed yet. If you want to propagate your roses, this is about one of the easiest ways you can do it. Here's one that's a lot older. It's losing its flowers already. And again, you can see it probably not fertilized. It's pretty flat. Now here's one that's lost its petals, and as you can see, the big ball underneath means that there are seeds inside. They may or may not be fertile at this point, but you can at least take a look, cut them open, take a look, see how many and if there are seeds in here at all. Now, you don't necessarily have to cut these at the part where it's still alive right here. Just give it a good yank and they'll come right off. There's a couple different stages. There's a couple different stages of how they dry up and how they mature. Younger, medium, and one of the older ones. Now this particular rose, you can look right down and on the top of the rose hip and see the seeds. So we know this one has at least got seeds in it. We do not know if they're fertile, but we know it does have seeds. We're going to take that one with us and let it dry out and see if those seeds are viable. I just thought of an easy way to determine if these have seeds or not. They will actually look pregnant, like they're swollen up. See how that's rounded? We know that one contains seeds. And if we look here in the top, we can probably see a few. I don't know how well you can see that, but you can see a few in there. So we're going to take that one with us too. And again, you want to cut these all the way down to the part that's no longer alive. Because if you cut it up here, this whole stick is going to die off anyway. And the flower or the plant is going to have to feed that stick until it dies off. So we can take these off all the way down to here and save the plant a little energy for storing up, making us more seeds. And again, you can tell where the petals have fallen off. And now they have seeds and are ready to be harvested. And if you happen to nick a leaf or two, don't freak out about it. It's not that critical. These are not quite ready to be picked. You see they haven't turned orange at all. But they'll still have good seeds in there, and we'll be able to dry out those seeds, scarify them, and then plant them and grow some more roses. Here's a really good example of one that's just lost his leaves. There's a couple hanging on, but as you can see, there's plenty of seeds in there. Now you want to dry these out before you cut them, because if you cut into them now, you're really liable to nick some of these seeds, and they won't be viable at all. So we're going to let that dry out a little bit more and mature a little bit more before we even try. We're going to take a look at this one just by looking underneath. Let me get a better shot for you. Just by looking underneath, you can see that there's no bulb down there, or it's not distended at all. It's pretty flat. See how flat that is? That means there's no seeds in this dude at all. Okay, this one here, Country pointed this one out to me. That one's perfect. Those seeds have dried up to the point where you can just literally thumb them and they'll come out. You really don't have to cut the pod open or anything. Just give them a good flick with your thumb and they'll come out. There you go. As opposed to that one. See how much drier they are? That's exactly what we want. We can let these dry out, or we can do those that are already dry. Excellent job, Country.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, another thing you want to be real careful of. Some of these roses are patented. That means if you propagate them, you are breaking the law. Figure out which ones are patented before you start to do any of this. Because if you get busted, hey, it's your problem, not mine. You're just out of luck. Another thing you want to be careful of is to label the seeds. You will not remember. If it's a red rose, if it's a purple rose, if it's Julio Iglesias, if it's John Bon Jovi, you will not remember when you just go to look at the seeds where they came from or what they are or what variety of rose they are. Make sure to label your seeds. Okay, you can see on this one it's getting kind of shriveled up. It's a nice orange color. There's a nice big ball back here. Right here. That tells us this is full of seeds and is ready to be harvested. We'll just snap him off. Take him with us. Okay, this is the final stage of what these will look like when they're dried out. See how brown and wrinkly and ugly and gnarly that looks? That's perfect. Just split that dude open and there's probably 6 or 8 seeds in there. Typically 6 or 8. Could be more, could be less. But all brown and gnarly like that, and still you can see it has that big bump on it. That's what we're particularly looking for. So you don't have to look for you don't really have to look for orange. You don't have to look for the prettiest, biggest flowers. As long as you look for the hips, you're probably going to find some seeds. You're more than likely going to find some seeds. Oh. Show me again. Okay, here's a really good one that probably got seeds inside. We're going to take that one with us. That one's good and dried out. See, it has the hip going on. The stem is nice and dry. Country picked the perfect one to have seeds. Good job, Country.